The thoughts, views, and opinions of In the Red podcast and its host and our guest is strictly for entertainment purposes only.
All right. We're back. Back again for the first time. Yeah. Oh, listen, before we even get started, let me just say this real quick. We lost a great one. You know, the great Miss Angie Stone passed away. Well, by the time you've seen this, yeah, she would have passed away. She passed away, tragic car accident. My condolences to all her family and friends, and, she, amazing woman. I've never heard anything other than, praise when it comes to her name. All around good person, great artist, pioneer, to be honest with you. And I've been rocking with music a very long time. And when she came out, well, let me not say when she came out, but when she became, how to say it, I don't want to say popular to the masses, but popular as a solo artist, as Angie Stone. It wasn't until a few years later after that, I want to say maybe around her second album as Angie Stone, is when I found out that she's Angie B, right? She's part of a group in the 80s, and I don't remember their name. It's on the tip of my tongue, but they were signed with the Sugar Hill Gang. They wrote a ton of hip-hop songs that, she's an amazing writer. She's responsible for a lot of music, a lot of songs. And I didn't put it together that they were the same person until like way later. So just to, know all of her accomplishments, throughout the years, man, and, it's a very sad loss. So again, my condolences to her family and her friends. Those of you who know, she has a son with D'Angelo. They have a child together. Well, it's not a child; he's a grown man now. But they have a kid together, and it's just sad, man. It just seems like late 2024 into 2025, we lost so many greats. Some very tragic, but I didn't want to start it sad, but I was like, let me just address that early. So a lot of things to cover, a lot of things to talk about, and we get to it. Let me start this show. All right. Yeah. So, like I said, SIP, rest in peace to Angie Stone. But listen, man, it's so much things to cover. Like, I've been trying to put it together, how to start. At this point, I don't even know where to start, because Trump is how many weeks in, and it seems like this man has not put down his pen. Every day it seems like he's signing something new, right? I saw a video of him on a flight, and he was signing things on the plane, like, brother, like, I give him to June before he ends up with carpal tunnel or something. At this point, they're just signing everything. Elon Musk is, why does it feel like Elon Musk is more of the vice president than Vance, right? it's like, how did this happen that he just became like so intertwined with this presidency? Like he's almost, not even he's almost, but he is. But it's just like this. Everything. This whole presidency seems like just like something out of a movie, like in La La Land or something. Like somebody's just writing this as they go along. Like Dick Wolf, it's like is narrating this thing. I have no clue. It's the weirdest thing. It's just so much happening. Stock market about to on the verge of crashing. The Gulf of Panama is now the Gulf of America. Like, what is happening, bro? I don't know. People are arguing about DEI. You know what? That's a good place to start, right? And I don't like to really talk politics with people. You know what I mean? Because it gets trippy, and I'm glad I'm kind of doing this one by myself, so I don't have to do the back and forth and blah blah blah, right? But I'm gonna be completely honest, transparent, right? When it comes to this DEI thing, I don't really care about it. I don't care about it. And to me, my opinion, my personal opinion, I don't think that it's a black problem, right? Now, after this comes out, somebody wants to debate me on it or whatever, and I don't really think it's a debate because it's just my opinion, right? So I'm not telling you have to believe it. I'm just telling you what my feeling is, and you like it, you like it, you don't, But I don't think that DEI is a black problem. Here's why. There's a few reasons, right? And I was telling somebody this the other day. One of the things with this DEI thing, when it comes to who DEI benefits, we've already heard. Well, the DEI really was came around really for white women, right? And so that was the number one. What's the word? Not prospect, but beneficiaries of this DEI project, right? But when it comes to black people, we are or were maybe fifth, sixth, something like that, like on the totem pole of receiving any true benefits from DEI, right? Now, one can say is, people say, well, black people have to work harder, and that is true. That is a fact. That there's no going around that at all. Yeah, we, as a black male, female, black people, we do have to work 5, 10 times harder sometimes, depending on the field, just to end up coming in under somebody who's less qualified. Now, they would say the DEI, that's the reason for the DEI is that's why, like, let's say something like nursing, right? Let me just throw it out there. I'm not saying that's a fact or specific. I'm just saying something like nursing. I'm just using that as an example. They would say, okay, the qualification for this black nurse compared to this white nurse, but because of DEI, and she's on the top of the totem pole to receive, she's going to get the job, and the black chick will end up working. I'm going to say chick, but the black woman end up working under her, but the black girl is really, or black woman is really above her skill-wise, qualified more. Well, if that's the thought process and that's the thing, then won't getting rid of DEI even the playing field? Right? Because me personally, in my experience, and people around me and the people that around me that I know, I don't know anybody that can actually say they've gotten a job because they were black. Me personally, I don't want a job I don't want you to hire me because because I'm black, or I want you to be hired for my skill. Now, knowing that I have to work 5 times harder, that's something that's already embedded in all of us, and we know that, so we automatically do so, right? You have a couple of people who just try to breeze through, but for the most part, Black people, we get it out the mud. We work hard, right? So it's like, okay, if DEI was given these white women or these higher positions, then getting rid of it would kind of even the playing field, right? I don't know anybody that's really benefited from DEI. They say, oh well, getting the products in stores and stuff like that. Open Black stores. All right. We say these things, places like Target and blah, 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 this, that, and the third. But if you're a real true supporter of Black products, right, if you just search, you'll find that there are tons. Everything you can think of that you buy in Target, there is a Black company for it. From paper towel to toothpaste to air fryers to microwaves, you name it, there is a Black company, right? They're not doing as great, but you just have to dig, right? Now, they might not be in Walmart. They might not be in Target. They might not be in Costco. They might not be in these these bigger stores, but they do exist. So if your thing is that you want to be able to support, then directly support, right? Because you're if you want to support Black business, right, then go directly to the Black business. Sorry, they shook the table. If you want to support Black business, then do so. Support Black business. But you going through a Target or a Walmart or one of these other stores, you're kind of like funneling through and it's not getting directly there. So again, there is a separation between the Black dollar from the Black consumer to the Black owner. There is a funnel in between there, and the money is not direct. So again, it's going out of the Black community. You get what I'm saying? So, and I'm not going to harbor on this for too long. That's just my take on it. You know what I mean? And if anybody ever want to discuss it or whatever, they're welcome to hit me up. You can go to InTheRed at myyahoo.com and, send me an email. And we can chop it up. Maybe you can come on here and we can have it back and forth or whatever. I don't mind it. I'm good for it. But yeah, like I'm not the DEI thing, getting rid of it. Let it go. Who cares? It don't make or change anything, really and truly. Not in my book. Not from what I've seen over the years. And I've been on this earth and this planet for a few years, and yeah, I haven't seen it. Oh, really. Back to Trump. Boy, has this dude been on a warpath. Like, I'll say this, man. People really need to get their teams together and understand like what's really happening. And not just regular friends, you know what I mean? When I say get a team together, really understand like, yo, if shit hits the fan, like, what is the plan, right? Who really has your back, right? Because you can't do it alone. This is the time now when they say that, yo, we need to pay attention and stick together and blah, blah. This is it. If you don't see what this is it, right? So, case in point, let's just say shit hits the fan and everything goes awry. Hey, who's the builder in your circle? Like, that's good with their hands, handyman type, that can put some shit together and understand. Who is the person that understands agriculture, right? Understands planting and not necessarily don't have to be farming, but I'm saying has an understanding. Hey man, we can at least grow some shit, right? Who are the fighters? Who are the tough ones, right? Who are the nurturers? Like, you really have to, just don't rely and say, okay, oh my, this is my people's or whatever. I know if same thing hits the fan, they got me, because it might not be so. People need to create their teams, have conversations. Just don't create the team in your head and be like, oh, we're good. Have a conversation with that person. Hey, shit hits the fan. Do we come to you? You come to us? How do we communicate? Like, figure that out. Shit goes down. All right, how are you going to contact them if there's no phones? You may need a good radio of sorts, right? So when I say radio, I mean like CB radio of some sort. You know what I'm saying? So all of these things being said, like, it's really something at this point really have to think about, and, people, how to say, man, people like to kind of procrastinate. Did I say that right? People like to procrastinate and not even procrastinate. That's the wrong word. People like to assume who has their back, right? And you have to remember that sometimes, you pour into people more than they pour into you, right? And that could, depending on the situation, it could lead and end up being something catastrophic for both parties, right? Something that, you can't come back from. I heard a guy the other day, and I've heard people use this quote before, and I know I'm jumping, right? But I'm trying to remember. It was a biblical verse, and I even called my mom, and we had a discussion for it, because my mother's she's heavy into the church, and we were talking about it. And when I said to her, I was trying to find the scripture that this guy was talking about, because I've heard other people, and I've had discussions with other people using a scripture out of the Bible and interpreting it wrong. And I never understood why they use it that way, right? I'm like, yo, that's not what they mean. And I wish I had it in front of me, but it just popped in my head. But basically, it was a Psalms. I don't remember what it was, but if it comes to me, but it was a Psalms, and I'm not well versed in the Bible and its specific verses or whatever, but I remember it was a Psalms, and it was something about like the cup runneth over or whatever, and people be like, they'll change the interpretation and make it seem like, like I pour into people and, I don't get anything back. Here's the thing. People tend to, like, people who are natural givers tend to just give, and then lay in a state of depression when they don't get back what they've been giving out, or even they don't get back. They might not necessarily expect to get the full 100 of what they gave out, but they're not even getting the percentage of what they expect. The problem is, you can't give until you're full, right? Meaning, you're only at a half a glass, right? And now you have 8 people around you that need a sip of water. You have an 8-ounce glass of water. You only have half, and 8 people need a sip. How do you spread that out and still save something for you? Somebody has to take a loss. It is a lot different, and this is not being selfish at all, but it's self-preservation, right? And it's healthy for your mind, your body, and your spirit, right? It is in your best interest for you to make sure that your cup is already at overflow before you start giving out. Now, people will say, "Oh, that's selfish." You can't. No. That's healthy. There's nothing selfish about that. You have to make sure you're on overflow before you start giving out, because you're going to turn around and give out and have nothing left for yourself. The same thing could be said for gas, right? The vehicles need to move on gas, and here you are, you're giving out gas, and you only have this little container. You got to make it home, but you drive a truck. Everybody else is in a Honda Civic, right? They only need a little bit to get started and get wherever they got to go. You done drove to them, right? Almost on E. You done drove to them, however miles away. Now you have to dish out all this gas. The amount of gas you're giving them to get to their destination, you need double to triple that to get back to your destination. You know what I'm saying? Again, I'm going to say, just so it's understood, make sure I didn't mess it up, right? The amount of gas that you're giving out for them to get back to their destination, you need double to triple that to get back to your destination. And now you've given it all out, and now you have nothing. And you know what the problem is? When you run out, they don't have it in them to get back to you. Even if they wanted to, they don't have it to give back to you. They can wholeheartedly want to give back, but they don't have enough. And they can't even fathom the idea on how to siphon some of what you just gave them back to give back to you. So your best bet is wait till you fill your tank till you hear the click. And after the click, then you can worry about helping friends and family and whoever else with their issues, right? Yeah. Because you give and you give and give, and then all of a sudden now you're laying in the house and you're depressed. Things are going through your mind. You're trying to figure out like how you ended up in this state, and you're like, yo, where did you go wrong? You can't visually, mentally, you can't see where you went wrong, because really and truly, you didn't go wrong. You just did the right thing at the wrong time. You gave too much before you had enough. And it's the toughest part, and it's not being selfish. It is self-preservation. Right? You ever realize that you can't pinch yourself as hard as somebody else can pinch you? Your body won't let you do it. You can try and think that you're getting there, but your body will never let you pinch yourself as hard as somebody else can pinch you. It's just a mental thing in your brain, in your brain, body, nerves, everything. They're all connected. And no, self-preservation, right? You got to save yourself. And, I don't want to even use that because that's sensitive and it could be triggering. But there are situations where people try to do harm to themselves, and the body won't allow them. It won't allow them, right? It's like, people be like, oh, we got to fear of heights or whatever. There's a reason you can't just, that example could be triggering to somebody, and I don't want to do that. But for those who understand, they understand. And you know what I'm trying to say. I think I've put it in, the simplest form it could be. But take care of yourself, man. Right? Take care of self, take care of each other, but take care of self first. You have to. Even on the plane, they tell you, hey, anything happens in this airplane and the oxygen mask falls down, before you go helping anybody else, put yours on first. They tell you. There's a reason for that. Because while you're going around trying to help everybody else, you're passing the fuck out. And now somebody else has to take their time to save you because you didn't do what you had to do for you. Right? And that's it, man. Confidence. Another thing I want to touch on, man. Stop doubting yourself. Stop doubting yourself. And don't let people put doubt in you. Right? When you wholeheartedly know something or are good at something, it is what it is. And wherever lumps and bumps come along the way while you're doing what that's it. But don't let people talk you out of your greatness before you even start. Don't talk yourself out of greatness before you even start. Right? I've said it on pods before. I know that there's 1,000,000,001 people doing pods. I know there's 1,000,000,001 people that want to start a pod. I know that there's 1,000,000,001 people also that are going to start and not continue. Look at me, for instance. As much as I try to stay consistent, there's times when I fall off. This has been a whole month. Well, I was revamping some things and I had a lot going on. And I know I say that every other pod, but again, one-man gang, so things happen or whatever, but I'm changing said things, so that cannot be an excuse anymore. Right? Revamp some things and put it in place, so that excuse can't, I won't be able to use that excuse. So now it falls on me to get the job done. Right? And you have to have the bumps, go through the trials and tribulations to get it right, to figure it out. Sometimes you lock in on one little problem, and that's not really a problem. It's just you overthinking the situation. Right? I could come in here and be like, how much times I've come into this room, and because I've seen somebody else's pod, I'm like, man, what could I do about this lighting, man? And talk myself out of doing the pod because I feel like the lighting ain't right. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, you see somebody doing a vlog or something, and it's out of their car, and people are intrigued. People are tapped in. If they are for you, they are for you. If it's for you, it is for you. Don't talk yourself out of greatness before you even give yourself a chance to start. Right? You got to get it done. You got to. Sometimes the best bet, and I remember my boy and I had this conversation. This is years ago. Shout out to him, man. And he had said something. He was like, yo, man, it wasn't exact words, but he was like, yo, there is no plan B. Right? And to be honest, all the people that have been successful and great have all had that same mindset. Like, yo, I don't have a plan B. It's this or nothing. Right? And that right there is a hard mindset to have, especially when life be lifing. Right? But then that ends up being the greatness. Right? When life is lifing and you still got to get it out the mud and figure things out on the fly, no matter what. Those are the people that end up being great. Right? And we had this conversation, I don't know how many up 10 years ago. And then, this is my engineer days or whatever, and I'm meeting new people, and I'm realizing, the people who were successful that I was around all had the same mindset. One dude I was talking to one time, and we were having a cool heart-to-heart, man. And he was an older guy. You know what I'm saying? And he was an artist, a reggae artist. And he said, we got to talking, and he was like, yo, like the other guys were talking about like jobs they've done before and blah, blah, blah. And he was just looking, he was like, yo, I've never worked a 9 to 5. Never in my life. He was like I said, he's an older gentleman, and he was like, never worked a 9 to 5. Not even like, what did he say? He was like, not even in the market, meaning like, how back in the day used to, well, if you're old enough, you would know, you used to have like the kids or young kids would make money off of tips by packing people's bags in the supermarket. He was like, yeah, not even in the market. Never did it. He was like, yo, it was music or nothing. He's like, I got a beating every day for coming in late. And after a while, he said his parents just gave in and was like, yo, just let him go. Because he said at one point, the father was like, yo, at this point, it's just abuse. So what we going to do? Beat the boy every day for coming in late. Plus, he said first thing in the morning, he's out the door to the studio. And this was, in Jamaica. So he was like, he'll go to school, from school to the studio. Right? At a certain time, whatever time he leave and get home, he should have been home hours before. He get that whooping, go to bed, do it the next day, just prepare his body for the whooping again. And he said after a good while of that, like, the father was just like, yo, you know what, man? Just leave the boy, man. Let him go. Because at this point, it's just abuse. And he's like, yo, he's going to be great. And the beauty part of that story was months later, after that, his father said that to him, months after he said, he ended up having, I want to say, let's just say like 3-4 months later, he ended up having a #1 reggae song in Jamaica that charted, and then his career took off from there. So all that to say, man, like, don't talk yourself out of greatness, man. Just keep pushing, whatever it may be. Whatever it's vlogging, streaming, music, whatever it is, man. And keep honest people around you. Don't keep a bunch of yes men or yes women, whatever. Keep honest people around you, right? And when you're taking in, there's nothing wrong with taking in input. I told people, I've said it here before, like, I don't want to hear nothing if I don't really care what you say, because I'm gonna do it my way regardless. And that could have been taken out of context, the way I said it that day or whatever. But really and truly is, I'll ask people, yo, what'd you think? And, I'm just talking about the people who would come up to you and give you a whole, list of all the things you should be doing. Meanwhile, they don't attempt to do nothing in their life. Or what they're asking you or telling you to do has nothing to do with who or what you're trying to do anyway. When I say who, nothing to do with who you are or what you're trying to do or attempting to do or actually doing. Right? So, there's nothing wrong with taking in input, but just make sure that it's truthful people. It's people who's going to give you the real raw deal. And if you're an artist, you need somebody to tell you, yo, that's not it, man. That's not hot. If every time Tell artists this, do rappers, R&B singers, whatever, doesn't matter. Rock, I don't care what it is when it comes to music. If every time you have an idea or you lay a song or whatever it is that you do, if every time you go to somebody or the same people and they all say, it's good or it's great or whatever, they're lying to you. They're lying to you. If somebody don't give you a tweak of a critique, they are lying to you. Because if you were that great all the time, your buzz, unless you're not putting in the work, and this is only if you put it in the real work. If you're just doing it in a closet at home and you're the only one listening to the greatness, then you're doing yourself an injustice. I'm talking about the people that's putting in real work, foot to ground, doing what they got to do. And if you're asking for input, and every time you get input, they're all saying great and there's no critiques, they're lying to you. Right? They're just pacifying you, and they're waiting for either one or two things. They're waiting for you for something good to happen so that they can be the ones to say, hey, see how it was believed in you? Or they're waiting for your downfall so they can laugh at you and be like, I knew he wasn't going to make it. And they can whisper about you behind your back. But yeah, that's about it. There's some more things I want to go through, but I think a couple of the topics, man, I'm going to get somebody in here. That's another thing, man. Shout out to everybody who liked and enjoyed the last pod with Cheeky Kathy. Yeah, that was dope. Everybody loved that one. She's the coolest fan. Good peoples, you know what I mean? But due to scheduling, she can't really get in the way thing. But as soon as we figure out some kind of schedule, we'll work something out, because everybody seemed to like that vibe. I love the vibe. The vibe was dope. I know she enjoyed it, but again, it's like a schedule thing. She has her own things going on, and timing issues and people traveling and what so have you. But all that said, there's some other people I want to bring in. Got some dope people around me that I just want to just bring in, and some of them are nervous. I was like, man, like one in particular I want to bring in, but they're nervous, and I'm like, I'm not gonna ambush you. It's not that kind of pod. I'm like, what kind of person do you think I am? But it's their own little tweak or whatever. But we'll get that figured out. But that's gonna be dope when that happens. Not if it happens, but when it happens, it will happen, right? Because I like to speak in positive terms only at all times. But yeah, a lot of great things coming, man. I'm not gonna hold y'all too long today, right? Because the Cheeky Kathy one, it was like, wow, it was 2 hours, but it don't even feel like that thing. And I actually watched the whole thing back, and I was like, oh, it's dope, because even though I do the editing, I'm doing the editing, but I'm not really like, like watching and paying attention to the vibe and all that. I just know what was happening in the room was a dope moment in the room. And like I said, that it was bound to be that, because it's always like that. Like we're friends. It was set on a pod, so like family friend, and she'll answer questions or whatever, and we crack jokes, and so what y'all saw on screen happens in real life off screen anyway. So we all hang out, we talk, joke around. I got some segment joints that I want to implement, that I am going to implement, and those are going to be dope, but I don't want to speak on it yet, because I don't know when it's going to happen. Like, literally, it's going to happen. I just don't have the timing of when it's going to happen. So I'm just going to hold my tongue on that part for now. Again, revamping. I know in the beginning you used to see me do the sponsors, and I kind of stopped doing that, but I'm getting back to that again. So if you want to, promote anything on the show, wants to have you, reach out to inthered@myyahoo.com. Send an email, somebody will get back to you, and they want to do like some question and answer type thing, segment of the show. Like you can email in some questions you may have or something, you want to hear my opinion on or what have you, anything like that. Send it in, and, I'll read it and I'll give you my opinion on it. Not saying I'm no therapist or nothing. I'm not trying to, I'm not saying I'm going to solve it. I'm just saying I'll give you my opinion. So that is inthered@myyahoo.com, right? So with that being said, I'm going to end this one really early, really quick. Again, R.I.P. Miss Angie Stone, man, and condolences to her family. Angie Stone, a.k.a. Angie B., right? I implore all of you to go out and do your research. Find out, really listen to her history. She is phenomenal, man. Like, just a sad situation. And I know it had to be, because people are not really talking because they survived, but I believe it was 9 other people. I don't remember if it was 9 in total, including Miss Stone, or Miss Stone and 9 other people, but there was 9 people in the van from what I understand, and they survived, and Miss Stone is the one that lost life. I know that prior to this tragic accident, she was having medical issues. I'm no doctor. I'm nothing like that. Just assuming that, probably because of that, just because of her medical issues, it probably could have been the reasoning behind, her not being able to pull through like the others. Again, that's just an assumption. That's just me. I didn't read that anywhere. Nobody said that. Just my assumption. Oh, and to the people, listen, I understand we're in a different time now, and I may sound like I'm talking from an older place, and people want their information fast. I get it. That this is where we're at. We're in a time where people need their information fast. And it's not really so much that they need it fast, but they want it fast. Right? And the day the news comes out, it's immediately people are going to they go with the storyline or the narrative that, the label had something to do with it, and it's all these things. And listen, it could be true, right? But it's not. You got to remember, these celebs, these people are still human, right? They still have loved ones, family, friends, children, right? That are just not prepared to start hearing all of that. They're dealing with the traumatic. So as traumatic as it was for you hearing the news, those who are familiar with her, right? As traumatic as it was you hearing the news, imagine hearing the news as a family member. Imagine hearing the news. This is your family member. This is your mom, your aunt, your sister, your daughter, right? And you're hearing it through a blog, and along with the blog is a tag that a label or something was responsible. You have to understand, and some of you, these bigger blog sites need to be more responsible in their writings. right? I get it. You want to be first. And first is going to win. It's going to get you those clicks. It's going to get you those views. You know what I mean? It's going to help your monetization. But like, when is it? Like, where's the decorum? Where's the, what's the word I'm looking for, man? Like, at some point of time, man, you have to take it to like, yo, this is somebody's family. This is somebody's friend. This is somebody's parent. You know? And put yourself in their shoes and imagine that's the first way you're hearing the news. Come on, man. Come on. We got to do better. We got to do better. So, again, I want to drag that out. You know, it's still happening now. And not that it's still happening now, but I mean, like, all the storyline and narratives, there's no need for me to get into them. I mean, you can see them online. And if any of those are true, it could be true. Who knows? Right? But the fact of the matter is, she hasn't even been laid to rest yet. You know, let give the family some time to get through that. And I know me saying it's not going to change anything, but at least it's being said. And I know there's other people who think and feel the same way, right? Anyway, but like I say all the time, man, y'all could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with me, and I appreciate you. You know, with that being said, man, peace. Remember, drink water.